Alright, hey everyone, this is, well, I think you can guess, because, the whole thing said it was me on the front page and whatnot. But anyway, this is Phreak with an audio commentary for WCR, and, before we actually start up, I'm going to say we'll get it to the 15-second mark of the 1x speed from faer.dive's point of view with the fog before on. And, while you guys are picking up, I'll, talk a little bit about something that was in the comments of number 135, which is calling people noobs and whatnot. And, all the random stuff like that. And the reason for that is because, I'm joking. Obviously, Kenshinware or Grubby or whoever else could, pretty much own me. So pretty much everyone that I call a noob really isn't one, except for D-Boss, because D-Boss really is a noob. And, before you actually say, LOL, D-Boss is a noob, learn to spell it right. How about you read some replay descriptions and you see how his name's actually spelled, so you don't look like a retard anymore. Just, FYI. Those of you who spell it with 2 S's, get a clue. Anyway, if you're gonna call him a noob, at least get the name right. That's a little insulting. You can't even spell his name right. He already knows he's a noob, but if you can't even, spare him the decency to spell his name, then yeah, you need to get shot, just etc. So, there you go. That's a little bit of a bit for you. And this will be, giving you some good tactics and information and, somewhat of a counter system and whatnot. Let's go ahead and get this one unpaused. You'll see a bit of a different build order. Not hugely different, but, there's some changes from some of the ones that I do normally. It actually depends on the map to an extent. And we'll go ahead and unpause this now. So let's unpause from the 15 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So I'm in the bottom section of Lost Temple, and at the time of the game, I saw my opponent was like level 40, and I'm like, well, this guy's either really good or he just plays a lot and gets there. Either way, I'm pretty much kind of scared because he could kill me. But especially because it's Lost Temple, I'm like, it's human in Lost Temple. How fun. Except at the time, I'd been up for, I think this was around like 7 a.m. And I had been up since 1 p.m. And actually, you didn't go to sleep till like 5 a.m. the next day. But, which was actually like 12 hours ago or something. And, so this game's pretty recent, I guess. And I am fairly tired at the time, but, so you will see one of the bad decisions of essentially not going after this expansion. And I get the racks a little bit late. Now, I should get this racks after I got 5 on gold. The next one goes on to build the racks, but as you see, I'm tired and I don't know my build order at all. So a couple mistakes there, but in any event, the build order for this is to sort of get about 2 grunts out by the time you've crept the green spot above your base with your Farseer, and then you go build an expansion. In any event, what I do with this build, though, is actually make a... Actually, I'm going to scout to see if my opponent's next to my expansion first, because I got the late racks. Normally, if you get the racks on time, you could actually have your first grunt scout to see if the remains next to your expansion, and if it is, then you go and expand to the other side. And you have your shot be sort of at your ramp in front of your base, just because it's good scouting and whatnot. It keeps your base a little bit more uncluttered. What am I saying? Holy crap. Otherwise, you have your ground scout, you build it. Otherwise, you're going to see here, you're going to build a shop at the ramp to your expansion. That way you can see if there's something weird like towering between them, so that you kind of cut off. So if you build a projection building at one, you're not going to be able to support the other without going through towers and whatnot. So they can do actually pretty good things, cutting you off like that. But you're going to see what I do here. It's going to be to wake up the creeps to try to get the piercing ones to attack my Farseer, which doesn't work as you can see. But, whatever. I'm going to run the Wolves Vex so they don't take as much damage from the creeps though. You see one of them's not focusing it anymore. So it's going to live as I focus on the other ones. And then by the time the wolves actually die, the time will be up and it'll be all peachy. So I'm going to kill this poacher, let the wolf tank, then as soon as it dies I'm going to resummon, and it'll be cool. So I'm going to resummon the wolves, back up the seer, and really you just really want your summons to tank because, heroes don't have great HP regen. By the time I finish this creep camp, I'm still not going to have that, 20 HP back. But, as you can see I'm building the shop at just enough of a spot that I can see the high ground. I could put it about 2-3 squares lower towards the left, but that's pretty much where you want to put it, is just so you can see the high ground, so you can look for towers and whatnot, but not that you can, see around and see if they're towering down there, and it's better that way. Anyway, I'm hitting the priest so that it heals itself, and then I'm coming in towards the creeps. Now letting my grunt tank, which is actually probably the smartest thing I can do right now, simply because the wolves, they die so fast, and they actually really have good damage. that you want your grunt to take a little bit, because otherwise your wolf's just going to die in about 2 seconds and they won't do anything for you. So you can see with the light racks, I don't have the second grunt creeping with me already, which is pretty bad. And you can see I have one of the grunts tanking, so I'm just going to send him to the fountain and let him heal up there. So yeah, I right-click over to the fountain, and I'm just letting the right units tank and whatnot. Again, you can see the damage on the hero is nominal. I'm not letting him tank too much because it is very dangerous to take a bunch of damage. And he'll slowly regen. So it's good probably to have your hero take a little bit of damage, but if you take too much, you're really just going to be screwed. Because you won't have any hit points by the time you're fighting, and it's just horrible for you. In any event, I teched this time because of the late creeping. That I had a bunch of money, so like, okay, well, I should probably go ahead and tech, and I'll build the expansion later. Now, if you take the Fog of War off, now you could have done this a little bit earlier, but the human army, aside from being better than your army, had actually camped at his choke. I was about to ping the map, but you can't because it's a replay. At least I won't go over to you guys in any event. But he actually camped at his choke in front of his expansion till his town hall was about halfway done, because that's what you have to do when you fast expand, because your peons are so susceptible to getting hurt that you're really going to get owned if you leave it and they come in. So you pretty much wait till the town hall's about done, and then moves on to wow, holy crap. Let's try this one again. Let's just go ahead and pause it so I can say it. Pause in 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay. He's waiting till his town hall is mostly done, so that by the time I would have gotten there, because it does take time to get there, so, leaving 10 seconds before it finishes means that I'm not going to get there till it's done anyway, because, it takes more than 10 seconds to get there. But he's making sure that it's going to be finishable, so that he doesn't have to cancel it, which takes a ton of resources, considering that, you have to tech as well, which costs a ton of wood, and having to cancel that town hall, you just lost a ton of wood overall. And your tech's already late. You might as well get the resource advantage for actually having that expansion. But in any event, what I had done recently is, after creeping the expansion, I didn't even notice that I got lightning shield until I'm about right here. Like, I just kind of picked up the item, not thinking. Maybe that's because I was tired, I don't know. But I wasn't really looking specifically at what I got. But after seeing sort of how late and sort of what direction his scouting Archmage came from, the Wand of Illusion, I knew that first of all he crept an expansion because of the Wand of Illusion, and second, I knew he was across map because I already scouted to the left, and if he was to the right, he A, would have militia scouted me if he was expanding, or would have probably just found me earlier. So I'm figuring he's fast expanded and he's on the top of the map. So I summon up the wolves when I get nearby, and I'm going to come after him. I can see that my farseer getting hit by the Arcane Tower, but I'm going to remedy that pretty soon, and we'll see how that goes. Let's unpause again in 3, 2, 1. Unpause and put the Fog of War back on. So I run my farseer back so he doesn't lose all his mana. I'm at level 2, which is really great. But now watch this. I'm going to send my grunt over there, and I'm going to lightning shield him so that he pretty much owns every single peasant here. Look at this. They're just getting reamed. They're all like dying right there. Anti-lightning goes off just to add some damage in there. And his Archmage is in a bad spot. However, he's surrounded by like footies and whatnot, and I'm just going to knock out as many peasants as possible. As you can see, I'm doing quite a lot of damage, and as lucky for me, his Arcane Tower is not owning me just yet. However, my farseer is getting pretty much raped, so that's bad. But I'm still going to send my grunts up the ramp and try to knock out another worker, because I've already gotten 3 or so. Let's try to get this 4th one. That's 100 gold down the drain for him, in addition to his TP. And, in addition to the gold he's not mining, because he's got less, workers chopping or mining gold. Now, unfortunately, I do badly with this grunt. I get him pretty much owned. You can see he's going to run around, and I'm probably going to get hit by some militia and whatnot. And as you see, here comes the militia, and he gets slapped by the tower. So at least no EXP for him, but I'm going to probably lose another grunt here too, if I don't really get myself out of the way very quickly. Luckily for me, I'm at 35 HP and running like crazy, and I survived, which is nice. Anyway, I knock down another footman, and right here I'm macroing at my base. I don't see my farseer, and he's going to go down. Because what I was doing is, I saw that I hit tier 2, so I was going to say, okay, get Orthodox Chieftain, get the Spear Lodge put up, and that's what I was doing there. But one of the things you have to really realize is that when you're macroing and you have an intel hero in a battle, your hero's going to get owned pretty quickly if you're not careful. Because I only had like 500 hit points, and that's really not very many, considering that he's got an Archmage with around 30, and footies that they're only like 12.5 damage. It still adds up pretty quickly when you only have 500 max. So that was a very big mistake by me, by being tired and, macroing while my hero's in battle. But, I put up the Spirit Lodge, getting Shaman, still a good idea. And now, one of the main things I'm doing here is I'm now watching the clock. I have my cursor hovered over the little time of day thing, and I'm going to get out of there before it's 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. because that's when daylight comes. That's when the creeps are going to get pissed at you and rape your grunts. So you're down up there in plenty of time in case I'm doing something at the time and then they get hit because the daybreak comes. So I just move out of the way, let their natural HP regen cover for a little bit of it, and just move on to continue to attack. So Toro Chieftain is out because his aura really helps a little bit against slow, because you're going to be doing a lot of less damage. You're going to lose a lot of damage due to the fact that he has slow. Because you're just going to... holy crap, what am I saying? Sorry. Let's try this one again. Okay. So, oh my gosh, wow, I'm losing my train of thought, I'm really sorry. Okay, Endurance Aura is great against slow because, since the percentages will just add, minus 25 attack speed to slow, plus 5, 10, 15 attack speed for Endurance Aura. Endurance is actually more effective, in terms of sort of percentages when slow is around, because if you just work out the math, it actually is more than a 5% increase in that regard. I'm almost certain. So there's that. Anyway, so as you can see, I just got steel melee weapons. I'm getting the upgrades because I want my guns to be very powerful. Sorry for the whole losing the train of thought thing. The door opened because my parents came home and it was interesting. Anyway, solving up because you need to get your units healed because it's obviously not nightfall, so I can't use the fountain in the middle. And I'm just creeping up to get some important levels such as 3 on both the heroes, and you also want to be sure that you creep camps that are effective for your army. You want to creep camps that are not too big and not too small, so that you get good EXP and you don't lose units. So what I'm doing is actually I'm going to creep a camp that's too small for me. But I'm also going to use that fairly soon as an expansion, so it's not a huge loss overall. But I think one of the main things you have to remember to do is actually create potential expansions pretty early on, because you never know when you're going to have to initiate a fight and put up an expansion during it, so that you can, give the expo by the time the battle's over. Because that way, win or lose, you've now got an econ advantage, and you'll be in good shape. In any event, getting the tomes and the items on the right heroes, getting the agility on the Tauren Chieftain, because there's no reason my Farsi is going to use it. My TC is going to be the one who's actually taking physical damage, which is why you give armor on him. I should be giving gloves of haste off to the Farsi here, but that's a minor detail, because they both deal really not huge damage. Farsi will be attacking more overall, but it's not the most important thing in the world. I just didn't see it, I guess. Again, I'm tired, so I probably just didn't notice. But I'm still getting the tomes from my hero, so that's all good. Now, in any event, you can see, because of the shop, I can see all across my base. I can see from main to expansion with no gaps. So if he's ever putting up some kind of tower, I can see it, which is always important, because you never know when something quick like that's going to happen. Now, I get the devotion on the TC, because he's going to be closer to the grunts, who are going to be doing most of the creeping. So now, my 4 armor grunts, which is pretty high, And now he sent now I notice my shop just died. He sent a sapper. Now I didn't realize it at the time, but what I should have realized is that means that I can't get Spirit Walkers or Bat Riders. Now, Spirit Walkers no one gets anyway, and Bat Riders I should have realized as he's going air already. But I realized that I just got myself 2 level 3s. I have a nice devotion aura item. Let's knock out this tower first because I don't want to lose all my mana. So you see, we're gonna go after that, and I'm just gonna use some chain wave to knock out his workers. Put down lightning shield on the grunt, and go shockwave. And you can see he loses some units there. He's got a tower in the battle, but I'm okay. I've got chain wave still. So here we go. I'm gonna purge away the WE as fast as I can. Put down lightning shield on the Tauren Chieftain, so I can burn through his units. And he puts down a healing ward, which is not good for me. And that water metal is freaking healing. But anyway, speed scroll around, try to get up close to his army again, and realize I'm sort of losing some stuff. I've got a bunch of weak units. Let's just get out because he's still got the tower in there. My Tauren Chieftain might die, but I lightning shield him so that he's pretty much the bane to his whole ground army, and I get 2 unit kills because of that. He dispels it, and I'm like, well, that's okay. I can still knock out some riflemen. But now I realize, oh, he's got Gryphons. Never mind. Let's go away. So turned around, seeing that I didn't want to get owned, but then turned back realizing that, hey, you know what? he's got a bunch of weak units, and I can lightning shoot him on Torn Chieftain. Let's do that instead. And so it's always good to be, thinking on the fly of, when you're at an advantage, when you're at a disadvantage. I was at a disadvantage when I was fighting near his guard tower because, he had pretty much his heroes and water mentals, which he's pretty much not going to lose, or it's not a big loss if he loses the WE. Whereas, my shaman did have some mana on them, but it was actually pretty close to none. So I don't know if I was actually would have been able to dispel a WE at the time. Probably would, but still he could have had some slow and whatnot. And I'd used the speed scroll, so I still had the ability to run away. So I was going to make sure that I wasn't going to lose units unnecessarily. So I ran away, realizing that I had a good advantage. I knocked out one of the towers. I knocked out a bunch of workers. I made him use a TP. Let's just keep my advantage ahead and not do anything drastic and not lose anything, because if I had ended up staying too long and losing some units, the advantage would have went right back to him by killing my army. So by running away preemptively, this makes sure that he doesn't get some kind of crazy advantage pulling out militia and whatnot. So I'm just going to say, let's get out, before I lose anything drastic. Let's just get out, because he can always Stormbolt and bring in militia. Since he could bring militia from the ramp, I don't even know when they're coming in. So it's better to be safe than sorry and suddenly lose your hero. And if he gets lucky, get a lucky bolt and get both my heroes. You never know. So that I can't TP. So it's always to be a little more cautious than too aggressive in losing stuff. But you can see that I've saved a grunt over here down in the middle of the map. Brought him back. It's always important to do that whenever you can. I've been seeing that I've been doing that more than usual now. I've actually been doing that more often, picking them up and running them back. I've been saving units a lot more recently. I hadn't really been doing that very much. I just sort of using focus fire. I save units in the beginning of the game, but once it got to like 50 food armies, I just kind of attack me and say, "Oh, the guy's about to die." No, that's too bad. So my micro is improving pretty recently, which is nice. Yeah, obviously. It's obvious that it's nice. There we go. But anyway, I pick up the scrolls and whatnot, and I'm going to get the XP tone and just pick up the Healthstone. Farseer's probably not the best here for it, but realizing that I don't really want to rearrange my items because I'm lazy. My Torn Chieftain has all the items that he really wants. Now I should move the Gloves of Haste over to my Farseer, but whatever. Now I see that, yep, he's bringing those Griffins in, but this is what I'm doing. I've been formulating my counter of a Wyvern. So you're going to see that I'm going to focus him down, and I'm going to continue to purge so that those Griffins can't get away. I'm continuing to purge and chain purge, because if he gets away, once he gets over those trees, I'm not really going to be able to chase him. So I'm going to continue to purge all I can, Purge one's getting away, purge that one, and, I've got 2 free kills right there. So, thanks for the 80 EXP per hero or so. And yes, he knows that I have, Master Shaman, and I have Wyvern now, but, you know what, that's fine, because I just killed 2 Griffins, I don't care. Now what I should be doing, really, is researching fortified defenses and putting up a couple of towers down there, because throughout the entirety of this game, he is going to be able to use Griffins against my expansion and kill my workers. Also, he knows that I have an expansion now, and he can come after it himself and kill it that way. But I'm like, look, I just killed 2 Griffins of yours, and you couldn't do anything about it, and now you're going to have to come up with some kind of counter to Wyvern, and so before you do, I'm going to hit you and try to force you out of there. So I'm gonna hit you before you actually have a counter to my Wyvern. But right now, I'm summoning for the Wolves, and I will, I think, be sending them to actually look for expos and whatnot. Yeah, actually, I'm waiting to bloodless them, then send them to random expansion spots to deal damage to them. I'm actually just waiting to heal up my grunts, and then here comes his army to kill my expansion. So I'm like, well, great. I don't want to burn a TP because I just don't want to lose it. I mean, if he kills it, I can always use a tiny Great Hall thing, and it's probably would have been better that I TP'd because it would have scared him away. So that's a mistake on my part. I'm trying to purge them. I'm trying to purge these rifles, but my shaman are rather far away, so that's not happening. But he's going to come after my Great Hall, and he's going to kill that, which is bad for me. But let's see. I'm just going to check something out. Yeah, when you lose a building, the units automatically cancel. And he just TP's out after kill a rifleman. So his losses are a TP and a rifleman, 555 gold. My losses are a Great Hall and a bunch of peons, which is more than that. Now, if I just TP'd, he would have TP'd out, and everyone would have been happy. If we just traded TPs, I would have kept my expansion. But instead, I'm a newbie. I pick up a tiny Great Hall. And I'm going to take 5 peons from wood, seeing that I have quite a lot, and send them off to this new gold mine. Then we use the remaining 5 food to make some kind of different units. Actually, in fact, I'm actually going to expand again, and use that 5 food to make 5 more peons. So in any event, putting up the Tiny Great Hall, you know, it's a great ability, because even if you lose your expo, you're still in good shape, because you can freaking do that thing. So, okay. So my mentality right now is, look, I have a better army. Every time we fought, I've made him TP, either, you know, coming to his base, making him TP home, or seeing that I have a better army, he's TPing out. I haven't used a TP all game. That's money advantage for me. I've been harassing expansion a lot. He's lost some workers. He's been harassing my expansion. I've lost some workers. Overall, I think I'm in pretty good shape. I think we're pretty equal, or I'm ahead, because he did get his expansion up first. You know, he also had to spend money on that, so total resources, I think, are on my side because of the extra TPs and having to fast build his expo. But I know he's got a pretty big army. I know I've got a pretty big army. I'm trying not to have my Wyvern be completely in front because I don't want the focus because they have high damage, low hit points, especially against like rifles and griffins. It's better to have your grunts tank because, you know, they don't die so quickly to rifles and whatnot. So here we go. I'm just gonna go Uber Chainwave Go. As you can see, he's spell stealing some of the Bloodlust, but I'm like, alright, look. By the way, I actually added in a Zerk to round up my army a little bit. And I'm just like, okay, let's use hero spells and whatnot. So, Shockwave, Chainwave, you know, everything like that. You know, I've got Bloodlusted Wyvern, which are not countered by anything but D-Hawks. That's the only thing human has to counter Bloodlusted Wyvern. That's the only thing they have is Dragon Hawks. You know, if you use Water Metals, they're gonna get purged. You use Riflemen, they're just gonna die to Chainwave. Dragon Hawks, yes, there can be bats in there, but you're not gonna knock out the Wyvern any other way. You're just not. So that's what you've got. Anyway, you know, purge away his Archmage, and then I miss a bunch of purges and end up purging my Wyvern a whole bunch. I see that he's keeping his army, his Archmage facing to the right, which would mean, oh, he's TPing to his expansion. Nope, he's actually just TPing to his main and just dying. So that's something that I thought actually happened, is that you'd actually face which direction you TP'd. Maybe that's only on your side of the game, you know, maybe on client side, but you won't see your opponent, or your opponent won't see which way you TP. So you can always TP to you know, any base, and he won't know which direction you went. Now, if you TP to something and it's not your main, he'll know that you have an expansion, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to just kill his castle, because that's a very important building of his. Unfortunately, he has 2 armor upgrades, so he's going to take forever to kill. Should die about right now if he didn't have it, but oh well. But, you know, I'm just making sure that I've, you know, killed everything that I can. You know, I see the Griffin coming out, so I'm going to focus it with the Wind Riders, you know, kill a couple peasants, and then I'm going to move on. After I've killed this castle, I will pretty soon move on and say, okay, look, he's not leaving, so apparently he thinks he has some way of still surviving this game, so I need to go kill his expansion. So I'm gonna, you know, stop hitting these things, rally my shaman to my army, I would hope, and see if I can do it. Yeah, my shaman is still there being returns, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna come in there and knock out his towers and whatnot. Shockwave goes off, kills a worker, and he's gonna go down. He's gonna leave, not saying GG, and down he goes. So, I didn't really go over why I picked the units that I picked. Just I was kind of talking about the decisions why I was going where, I guess. The units that I picked and the reason for them is that inner Fired Gryphons are not countered by Bat Riders, simply because your opponent will always get a bunch of armor upgrades and use inner fire. And bats are horribly inefficient. You know, they just don't work very well. So you shouldn't try to do that. You know, you just can't really use them very well. You know, Wyvern are a great counter because unless he goes D-Hawks, he's really not going to have a great time trying to kill Bloodlusted Wyvern, because even with Riflemen, they're going to get chain-waved, and they're going to die to grunts, because I still have a bunch of grunts there. And, you know, with my +1 Armor Devotion and Vamp, and my constant upgrading of my grunts as it is, there were probably at least 2-2, I don't remember exactly. I think I actually got mostly every upgrade there. Upgrades are very underrated, I think. They're especially great when you expand. So you can almost mask your expansion by not having, you know, an overwhelming horde of units. You just use your money on expansions. And people don't really notice those so much. They don't really click and check for upgrades. You know, you use your money on upgrades, and, you know, maybe it looks like you've got a slightly bigger army than him. And it's like, well, that's okay, I can out-micro him. You know, upgrades are going to swing that even more to your favor. And he's really going to get owned unless you do some mistakes, because they're not going to really look at upgrades very much. I look at them on occasion, you know, I'll be like, I'm 2-2, my opponent is, oh, he's 1-1, okay, good, I have an edge on him. You know, and since I have an expansion as well, I'm just going to, you know, fight him as much as I can, wear down his army. You know, even if we trade like 1 for 1 or, you know, 1.2 for 1, you know, against me, I'll still be able to outmass him. and eventually I'll have more units than him, and they'll be more upgraded. He'll just lose. So it's all good. So this will be the end of this commentary. This will be Phreak signing out.